Hi and welcome back to my channel. My name is Cica and I am a K-beauty and skincare content creator, blogger, YouTuber, beauty writer, podcaster, and just general skincare enthusiast. And today we are talking about what is probably the most viral product, skincare product, certainly on TikTok, I would say all over social media at the moment. And I felt because it is so crazy hyped at the moment, and I feel especially younger people kind of use it in a desperate attempt to cure their acne basically overnight. I feel there's a lot of high expectations connected to this product that I felt maybe it would be good to just give you a little bit of a background on why this is a good product, but also maybe a few pointers as to whether or not this actually is something for you and your skin type and why it potentially may not work for you, and also some alternatives if it doesn't work for you, so that you don't feel like you're missing out on the super viral, super hyped Roche Posay Cicaplast Baume B5. So, the Cicaplast Baume B5. This product has existed for a long time by now. It's certainly not a new product, but it kind of, I talked about this in a previous video before where I talked about the product. This is it, by the way. I cannot see anything at the moment, so I'm not sure if I'm showing it to you. Guess I'll find out when I edit this, but this is the 40 ml tube. This comes in various sizes. This is a mid-size. When I went to buy this about almost a month ago now, this was pretty much the only size that was left. They was just completely, my German pharmacy was completely sold out. So you can tell that the hype has reached Germany, and this is just, I would say, a global phenomenon at the moment, super popular also in Korea. I forgot who the actor is, who is the model for La Roche Posay, but he's the guy from Vincenzo and Descendants of the Sun, if you've seen those two K-dramas. I forgot his name. But yeah, this is just, considering that it's kind of an inobtrusive, sort of very clinical looking little tube, it is quite interesting how the hype for it kind of comes in waves. I remember a couple of years ago when French pharmacy was all the rage on YouTube, and everyone did their French pharmacy hauls. All the British and American YouTubers, once they'd been to Paris, they would always have their French pharmacy hauls. And this was certainly one of the products that got hyped up, and then kind of the hype died down again. And now with TikTok, it's kind of exploded again. And I just feel there's maybe a little bit of a misconception sometimes about what this product can and can't do, what it's meant for, how it's to be used. And also, I really think skinfluencers who hype it up and sort of demonstrate using it on their skin, I don't think they always explain why it's supposed to be good for certain skin issues, but also they don't really, I feel, manage expectations, especially when you're young. I had pretty bad skin in my teens and my 20s, and especially in your teenage years, you kind of, because you've got that fiery, youthful energy, I guess, you tend to kind of latch on to things and really just be very black and white and very, this has to work sort of about them, and you expect very fast results because you're impatient. And I think people place a lot of trust in this product and then sometimes get very disappointed. Not because it's a bad product. This is not a sort of clickbaity video. This is actually terrible. This is not what this is about. I just want to explain a little bit about what this actually is, what it's meant to do, but also maybe explain a little bit its limitations, just so that I can manage expectations, and maybe also explain why it might not work for you. And then again, also I have a few alternative products that might be better for specific skin issues. So what is the La Roche Posay Cicaplast Baume B5, or rather what is its secret? Why is everyone hyping it up? So I couldn't quite find out when this was released, how old this is. I feel it's been around for quite a while. And I also couldn't find out what the name actually means or the complete origin of the name. So I kind of speculate here a little bit. I'm speculating. I don't have real sources for this, but I think it probably comes from the name cicatrice, the word cicatrice, which is French for scar. And then I'm thinking maybe from plaster, so kind of the idea of a scar bandage, because that was actually what this was supposed to be. It was supposed to be a cream specifically for skin that it was either scarred or had been severely damaged or was highly sensitized from, for instance, surgeries or certain dermatological treatments, such as a laser treatment or a peeling, and to help regenerate the skin. So it is a specifically anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, regenerative, occlusive balm. So occlusive usually means that it seals in moisture. It's not, I feel sometimes people have the wrong idea about what occlusive means. It doesn't mean that it completely repels water. It's not that strong. No product is that strong to completely seal off your skin, but it does help prevent transepidermal water loss, and it locks in moisture into your skin, basically. The main active ingredients in the Cicaplast balm are metacasoside, which is a compound or an active compound of centella asiatica, or tiger grass, it's sometimes called, 5% panthenol, and then a mix of mineral salts, copper, what were the other ones? Let me see. I wrote it all down. Copper, manganese, and zinc gluconate. And gluconate means it's a salt. So centella asiatica, or in this case metacasoside, is a fantastic anti-inflammatory. It is potentially wound healing. It's soothing, calming, a really fantastic plant extract that of course comes from Asian skincare, especially Korean skincare. And panthenol, a really sort of old school skin soother. We often here in Germany use panthenol cream on rashes and sort of scraped skin. And it really helps to heal, make skin heal faster, and just sort of smoothes down any sort of roughness. And it's super, super soothing. And then the mineral salts, especially zinc, is known to be antibacterial and also anti-inflammatory. So that combination, of course, is super fantastic for skin barrier health, the skin barrier regeneration, and if you have a damaged skin barrier. The balm is also fragrance-free and alcohol-free, so it works pretty much for most sensitive skin types, unless you have, of course, any sort of specific allergies. And it is also a really rich and nourishing texture. So it contains shea butter and dimethicone, which is silicone, and that gives, those two give it its really emollient and occlusive qualities. So how do you use the Cicaplast Baume? And I feel this is often where maybe a couple of, not misunderstandings, but maybe misconceptions kind of arise sometimes. I don't know, I've just seen some strange stuff on TikTok when it comes to this product. So technically this is meant as an all-over balm. You can use it on your face, but you can also use it on your entire body. Let's say on your elbows if they're scraped, or again if you have scar tissue, because it was meant basically as a balm to massage scar tissue to sort of make it heal faster and speed up the healing process, and maybe soften the scar tissue a little bit when it's still fresh and healing. And you basically can just use a thin layer all over your face, and I think it's better overnight. But if you have super, super dry skin, apparently it can also work as a daytime moisturizer. You can use it in addition to a moisturizer, kind of almost like a Korean sleeping cream. Or you can, of course, just make it replace your moisturizer. It is super, super thick and super, super rich. However, if you only apply a thin layer, and it's meant to be only applied as a thin layer really, then it kind of just melts into your skin and it is more than enough. You don't have to put on thick sort of intense mask-like layers of this, which is one of the things that I've seen people do. And I've also seen people use it as a, or recommend it as a spot treatment. Here's, I think, where I just kind of always get a little bit anxious that it might target the wrong people with the wrong skin type and give them very high expectations as to its healing abilities. And I think a lot of people get very disappointed if it doesn't fulfill those. So the Cicaplast Baume is not specifically designed as a treatment for acne. It can help if you have acne, simply because very often when you have acne, you have damaged skin and you have a damaged skin barrier, and you deal with a ton of anti-inflammatory issues. And this is a fantastic product to use if you have acne-prone skin. However, to use it as a spot treatment and then hope that overnight it will heal off your acne, that's not really what it's meant for, because again, it is actually really, really rich and really nourishing. And it contains shea butter. So in fact, a lot of people break out from this if they're already oily or acne prone, because shea butter can be a trigger for breakouts. It is for me. I always have to be a little bit careful, not as much anymore, because I'm now at an age where I don't break out as easily anymore. I don't think I could have used this in my 20s. I'm pretty sure this would have aggravated my acne. And I have heard that so often in TikTok comments where people just say, this doesn't work, it just gave me more spots, more blemishes. And I just think it's because probably people put on a lot of it on particular blemished areas. And again, I think expect overnight miracles from it, because usually when you use a spot treatment, it is meant to dry out that area a little bit. Usually they contain salicylic acid or tea tree oil or something like that, that can just help sort of dry out the area and help with the excess sebum a little bit. Or the salicylic acid, of course, also helps exfoliate the area, and that can help make them less visible overnight. Or, you know, those, what they call the Cosrx pimple patches do kind of do the same thing. They draw out the infection. And that's not quite what this does. I'm not saying it can't work, but I'm just saying technically that's not what it's supposed to do. And I think because of the rich texture, it just might actually make your skin feel and appear oilier, especially if you use it during the day. I just think in that case, I would use it more as an overnight treatment versus putting it on specific blemished areas. And again, I think you just need to be careful if you have oily skin to use this at all. I would try it out at first on a little patch on your skin, because the shea butter might actually be too much and too rich for you. And then you might just end up having more pimples. The reason it can be really good for people with acne, and why I wouldn't discourage you from using it at all, I think especially again if your skin barrier is damaged from trying all sorts of harsh things, and a damaged skin barrier also can mean that the acne bacteria can thrive more. So it is very smart to first heal your skin barrier before you do anything else in regards to your acne. It can be a really good thing to try out. Also with the zinc and the manganese and the copper, it has antibacterial properties. I actually noticed that when I use it, that it kind of just almost feels like it creates this, not really tingling, but you can feel something working. I don't know how else to describe that. So if you are okay with shea butter, and if you're okay with a really rich product, if you have tested it out maybe on, let's say, like a little area on your chin or a little part of your cheek overnight, and you didn't break out from it, go for it. Use it every night. Thin layer, again, I would not put a lot on, simply because there's no need for that. And I would always put it all over your face, not just where your spots are, because it's not really spot treatment as such. If you do it like that, and if you know you can tolerate the richer ingredients, I think it can be a fantastic addition to an oily skin or acne-prone skin routine. Just again, be aware that it's not specifically designed for blemish-prone skin. It is more actually targeted towards drier skin types or highly sensitive skin types. So what do you do in case the Cicaplast Baume is actually too rich for you, if it's broken you out, but you kind of want those benefits from the metacasicide, the mineral salts, the disinfectant mineral salts, and the panthenol. What else can you use? Are there any alternatives to this product that maybe do kind of the same thing? Well, number one, there's actually an alternative product with a lighter texture that is free from shea butter, which again tends to be the number one trigger. And it's another Cicaplast product that not many people talk about, even though I almost like it more for my skin type, which is combo. And it is the Cicaplast Gel B5. So it's not a balm, but it's a gel, and it comes in this longer, sleeker tube. And this basically has the same main ingredients: 5% panthenol, metacasicide, zinc, manganese, copper, etc., but it is free from shea butter. It only uses silicones, and it creates that very, I'll show it to you in a texture shot. It creates that very, very light, very cooling. It has a very nice cooling sensation, and very thinly spreadable gel, silicone gel. It's not really watery. It does have that occlusive slip, and it works really well to seal in moisture overnight again. And what it also is very good for is you can use it as a makeup primer. I think Lisa Eldridge is the one who once said that as a tip. And it works actually super, super well, especially on oily skin, because it creates that sort of smooth, pore smoothing, sort of blurring effect a little bit on the skin. And it just isn't as rich. So sometimes people with oily skin actually do better with the gel, which is why I find it quite strange that no one really talks about the gel. I think it is because it's not as moisturizing. So I feel this one, I would always advise you to put a moisturizer, or in case of being oily, maybe a moisturizing gel underneath this, because it won't give you that same super nourishing kick that you get from the balm. Where did I put the balm? Here. That's the balm, that's the gel. But if you are super oily and if you have younger skin, I sometimes think maybe this could actually work better. So experiment maybe with the gel. It costs roughly the same. I think I paid around 11 euros for this, and I think here in Europe this one cost maybe 8 euros. I would also advise you, if you're trying the balm for the first time, to really try and get the smaller version. This is the medium-sized one, but you don't really need to spend money and buy a huge tube. There's a larger one than this one before you really know if you'll do well with it, because it can be pricey depending on in which country you live. But yeah, you can also experiment with the gel as an alternative, because it really has a much, much lighter texture, and it eliminates one of those classic breakout triggers, which is the shea butter. And if you're looking for something even lighter than the gel, if you want some completely different textures, if you just don't want to deal with an occlusive type of barrier cream, but you still want the antibacterial goodness of the zinc, and then hopefully something really nice with metacasicide in it, and maybe even something with panthenol. Now, I have not found a comparable product with all three of those in it that has a lighter texture, but I can maybe offer you an alternative in the form of 2, potentially 3 products that all each have those important main active ingredients. The number one thing I want to recommend, especially if you have oily skin, and especially if you're redness prone, if you're prone to inflammation on your face, is an old classic that for some reason skincare TikTok has not discovered yet. So it's not sold out yet, but it probably will come back because again, all the old French pharmacy classics are coming back. And it is this one. So this here is the La Roche Posay Serozinc, I think is how you would pronounce it, which basically is just a clear spray, a clear watery spray that contains 100% zinc sulfate. So it has that same antibacterial goodness that the Cicaplast Baume has, but it is just, I don't know if my camera can catch this, but it's just basically a little spray nozzle. And it really is one of those products that I think should be in every skincare cabinet because it works for the entire family. Some people actually even use it on their babies for their nappy rashes. Now, I don't want to say anything about baby skincare because I don't dare, but that is what I've heard, that apparently it's often used in France for nappy rashes. Correct me if you're from France and this is nonsense, but that's what I've heard. And apparently a lot of men also like to use this as an aftershave soothing sort of treatment. It's really good if you have razor burns and things like that. And it's really good if you have acne prone skin because it just takes down that redness. It instantly soothes. I really enjoy using this around, the time of the month because my skin gets very, very inflamed and is very prone to random breakouts. I've got one here at the moment. I don't know if you can see that, but yep, that is hormonal breakouts. Even at 43, you still get them. And this is then usually what I reach for. And it has the advantage of having the same antibacterial effect on your skin, but without the greasiness of the balm. So if you are specifically after antibacterial goodness, this one really is a very good alternative to the balm, especially for very oily skin. And since the spray is so lightweight, you can very easily combine it with a metacasicide containing serum. And the one that I would always recommend when it comes to metacasicide products, I would say that's the best one on the market at the moment, especially if you have skin barrier issues, especially if your skin is in any way damaged or you have overtaxed your skin barrier. This one is just so minimalist, so soothing. There's very little in there that can actually irritate skin unless again you're allergic to something that's in it. But it's the Geek and Gorgeous Stressless Serum, which I'm pretty sure I've shown you before. This is just a hydrating and calming serum that contains beta-glucan, which is a humectant, and metacasicide, and a really high quality metacasicide. And if you combine these two in a skincare routine, use this as your toner and then use this as your hydrating step, you are almost at the same level of skin barrier soothing, calming, repairing as you are with the balm. You just take out the heaviness and the richness that can sometimes actually make your breakouts get worse in case that's kind of one of your triggers, those rich, intense textures. And then if you want the panthenol, there are so many new moisturizers out there now that also contain panthenol, especially in Korean beauty. One that I don't have here at the moment as a full size, just as a little mini that might not be enough to show you the texture, unfortunately, because I've almost used it up. But a cream that I can really highly recommend if you have oily, acne-prone skin or if you have sensitized skin or skin barrier problems, but you want something really, really light and with a very almost watery gel texture that still does moisturize actually surprisingly deeply. I super highly can recommend the BioHeal BOH Panthenol Cica Blemish cream. And it's, again, this is just my little mini. I don't know if this can convince you. Usually it comes in a jar. It's an Olive Young in-house brand that has some really, really good products. The ampoule from this is also really fantastic. And this contains 5% panthenol, just like the Cicaplast Baume, but again has a much lighter, more watery gel texture. It also contains ceramide, so it replenishes your lipid barrier. And it also contains metacasicide and centella asiatica extract, and also asiaticoside, which is also an active component of centella asiatica. So it has kind of a triple centella complex. Super soothing, super calming, very, very moisturizing for a gel cream. I would say one of the most moisturizing gel creams I've ever tried potentially, and just so soothing. I always feel really refreshed and happy after using this. So if you combine those three, I realize that's 3 products. So I'm not saying this is a better alternative. I'm just saying it is a potential alternative if you don't do well with the Cicaplast Baume and you kind of feel, oh, but I want what everyone else has when they use this balm. You can try those 3, or maybe experiment with one of the 3, especially the Serozinc, if you are after, again, anti-inflammatory, soothing, calming, and also this sort of antibacterial goodness that you can get from the balm, but you don't want the heaviness. This can be a really, really good alternative. Might cost you a little bit more, I'm sorry for that. Or you can, of course, try the Cicaplast Gel. Those are your 2 alternatives. Either you can try the new product trio that I just introduced, or you try the gel in case the Cicaplast Baume doesn't work for you. I just think, bottom line, it's a product that is fantastic. I really enjoy using it, but I also think sometimes it's kind of sold as this panacea, especially for oily and acne-prone skin, when in fact it does not work as well for those types of skin types if they are very, very oily and if they are easily triggered by richer textures. So I would say try out the balm, but in case you've had bad experiences with it, there are other products that can do similar things, and it isn't a panacea for every single thing out there, for every single skin disease. And there's also really no need to just smear it on your face really thickly. And I also don't think I would use it as a spot treatment. There are other products for that to heal off your acne, especially those pimple patches. Really work better for that. The balm is for skin barrier repair. It is for regeneration of sensitized or even damaged skin. And of course, acne does damage your skin barrier. So again, it can work and it can help. And skin barrier repair is always the first step if you have acne. But don't be disappointed if it doesn't work, because it is very possible that it doesn't work for your oily skin. And in that case, hopefully I gave you some good alternatives that you can use. All right, and as my lighting fails me, it's getting really dark outside very fast. I haven't really adjusted my schedule to that yet. I think I'm at the end of this week's video, and I hope I have maybe helped you a little bit with your decision of whether or not the Cicaplast Baume is something for you, or maybe you are desperately looking for something to replace it because it just did not work for you. And if this video was in any way helpful for you, then it would be fantastic if you could give it a thumbs up and maybe consider subscribing, because that's really, really helpful for smaller creators. And maybe even leave a comment potentially if you've already tried this this hyped up product, if you can even get your hands on it, because of course that's the other problem with it. It's sold out everywhere here in Germany, and I think it's the same in other countries as well. Again, Serozinc, I think so far is still safe, unless it now has gone viral on TikTok. Sometimes it can go fast. But yeah, I hope this was helpful for you, and I will see you again, as always, next week on Friday with a new video. And until then, take care. Bye.